कुंज बिहारी जय कुंज बिहारी. So this being the month of Damodara, we will sing this Damodara Ashtakam, glorification of the Supreme Lord, who was bound by Mother Yashoda's unlimited love. I hope you can see. So let us do that. Namomishwaram Satchidananda Rupam Nasatkundalam Gokule Prajamanam. Namamishwaram Satchidananda Rupam Nasatkundalam Gokule Prajamanam. Yashodabhi Aulukhaladhavamanam Param Vittamatyanta Surutyagopya. Yashodabhi Aulukhaladhavamanam Param Vittamatyanta Surutyagopya. Dantam Mukurnitra Sukam Vijantam Ayam Bhojayukmena Tatankalekam. Dantam Mukurnitra Sukam Vijantam Ayam Bhojayukmena Tatankalekam. Muhuswasa Kampati Lekhankatanta Siddhagrayam Damodaram Bhaktivadam. Muhuswasa Kampati Lekhankatanta Siddhagrayam Damodaram Bhaktivadam. Vikshwalilabhir ananta kunde sakhoshan nimachantam sakhyapayantam. Vikshwalilabhir ananta kunde sakhoshan nimachantam sakhyapayantam. Satyeshu bhaktaivitatam Punya prematastam Sataviti vande. Satyeshu bhaktaivitatam Punya prematastam Sataviti vande. Param Deva Moksham Na Mokshavadim Va. What happened? Param Deva Moksham Na Mokshavadim Va. Nachanyam Ranekam Vare Sadavita. Param Deva Moksham Na Mokshavadim Va. Nachanyam Ranekam Vare Sadavita. Idam Deva Punata Ubalabalam Sadami Manasya Vyasam Himandai. Idam Deva Punata Ubalabalam Sadami Manasya Vyasam Himandai. Idam Te Upambojam Atyantanilai Pratam Kundarai Snigdha Pretaisha Gopya. काम्बोज अत्यंत नीले जलं कुंडलै स्निग्धा यथैषधोऽभ्या मुहुश्चुम्बितं बिम्बायुक्तधरं मे मनस्य वीरस्तं कालं लक्षलभ्यै मुहुश्चुम्बितं बिम्बायुक्तधरं मे मनस्य वीरस्तं कालं लक्षलभ्यै नमो देव नमोद अनंत विष्णु प्रसीद प्रभो दुःख जलाभिमानम् नमो देव नमोद अनंत विष्णु प्रसीद प्रभो दुःख जलाभिमानम् दृष्टि विस्यादि विनम्रतानु कृष्णेशमामज्ञं यक्षिदृश्य दृष्टि विस्यादि विनम्रतानु कृष्णेशमामज्ञं यक्षिदृश्य रूपेरात्मजौ बद्धा रूप्यैव यद्धा त्वया मोक्षितौ भक्ति अजौ कृतौ च रूपेरात्मजौ बद्धा रूप्यैव यद्धा त्वया मोक्षितौ भक्ति अजौ कृतौ च तथा प्रेम भक्ति स्वागम्य प्रिया च नमो क्षेत्रमो मेति दामोदरेण तथा प्रेम भक्ति स्वागम्य प्रिया च नमो क्षेत्रमो मेति दामोदरेण नमस्ते सुधाम्ने सुहरिकाम्ने त्वदीयोदराय विश्वस्य धाम्ने नमस्ते सुधाम्ने सुहरिकाम्ने त्वदीयोदराय विश्वस्य धाम्ने नमो राधिकाय प्रियाय नमो नन्दलीलाय देवाय तुभ्याम् 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 जय राधा दामोदर Radha Damodar ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. So we'll discuss the meaning of this verse towards the end of this class, but let me first get my topic up here. Mother Yashoda, the most fortunate. So, first of all, I seek all of your mercy so that I can, I'm enabled to speak something meaningful on this most auspicious day of the beginning of the month of Kartik. So, when Sadrupa asked me to speak on the first two verses, I was not sure what am I speaking, and I was quite hesitant. And I opened Srimad Bhagavatam, and this verse came right in front. This is what it says. Srimad Bhagavatam speaks to you directly. You don't need to do anything. All you need to do is open Srimad Bhagavatam. And so this verse showed up, and so that was the inspiration for today's class. So this is the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th chapter, verse number 45. And I'll chant. Trayachopaniषद् bhaishadvischa sankhya yogaischa sattvatai upagiyamana-mahatmyam harim samanyatatmajam trayachopaniषद्भिश्च sankhya yogaischa sattvatai upagiyamana-mahatmyam harim samanyatatmajam. So, the meaning of this verse is that the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are studied through the three Vedas, the Upanishads, the literature of Sankhya Yoga, and other Vaishnava literatures. Yet Mother Yashoda considered that Supreme Person her ordinary child. So, Traya Upanishad Vischa, meaning three Vedas. Of course, there are four Vedas, but here it is specified Traya, and the Upanishads, Sankhya Yoga, and the Sattvata literatures. All these Vedic literatures, what are they studied for? It is studied for understanding about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But here it is said, Upagiyamana Mahatmyam. Upagiyamana Mahatmyam. Somebody's glories, Upagiyamana, the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is there in these Vedic scriptures. So the Lord is worshipped through these Vedic scriptures. Harim means unto the personality of Godhead. Sa means she is Mother Yashoda. Samanyatatmajam, Sa Amanyatatmajam. Amanyata means she considered ordinary. Atmaja means her own son. So, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is glorified in the Vedas, in the Upanishads, in various ways. And yet, what did Mother Yashoda think of Krishna? She didn't think of him as anything as it is described in the Vedas. She simply considered Krishna as her own child. Upagiyamana Mahatmyam, whose glories are worshipped through the Vedas, and she considered him as her own son. And that is the point here. So in Bhagavad Gita, 15th chapter, Krishna speaks about the purpose of the study of the Vedas. Krishna says, Vedaischa sarvai ahameva vedyo, Vedanta krit veda krit evachaham. Right? By the study of the Vedas, I am to be known. That's the purpose of the study of the Vedas. Now, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is none other than Krishna himself, he instructs Sanatana Goswami, one of the Goswamis of Vrindavan, that there are three purposes in studying the Vedas. And that is Sambandha Gnana, which is understanding our relationship with the Supreme Lord. And then Abhideya, learning to act based on that knowledge. And then there is the Prayojana. Prayojana is the result, which is Prema Bhakti. Now, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was instructing Sanatana Goswami, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave a very special meaning for the word Prayojana. We always say Prayojana is the goal, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Prayojana means necessity. So huge difference, right? Of course, goal is goal. But necessity, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that it is the greatest necessity for the human being. What is the greatest necessity? It is the attainment of the love of Krishna. This Prema Bhakti, what we are talking about. Please keep this in mind. This is all what we are talking about, Prema Bhakti, today. And this is the significance of this month of Kartik also. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, the greatest necessity for human beings is not feeding your stomach or collecting money or building houses or palaces or whatever you like, or ornaments. None of that. The necessity is this attainment of love for Krishna. And Mother Yashoda attained this. This is the beauty. And she was completely absorbed in the love for Krishna. She had no other thought. She had no intellectual analysis. She was not at all like a Sankhya yogi or a Jnana yogi or an Ashtanga yogi. She was simply thinking only about her son, Krishna. That was how she was absorbed. Completely absorbed in Vatsalya Rasa. That was Mother Yashoda. So in the Vedas, there are different sections. Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, Upasana Kanda. Right, like that. Karma Kanda section, there are so many rituals that are prescribed. You do such and such things, you will get such and such result. And then there is Jnana Kanda section, which gives you more knowledge. And then there is the Upasana Kanda section, which describes about different methods of worship. So, of course, when you come to Upasana Kanda, you have reached a little a deeper understanding of the Vedas. In the Upasana Kanda section, about the Upasana Kanda section, Lord Shiva is having a conversation with his wife, Parvati. And Lord Shiva says that Aradhananam Sarvesham Vishnu Aradhanam Param. Aradhananam Sarvesham, among all those who are worshipable, the topmost form of worship is worship of Lord Vishnu. And guess what? That stage of worship of Lord Vishnu, that perfection, was attained by Mother Devaki. Remember, like when Krishna appeared in Kamsa's prison house, and suddenly she showed his four-handed form, the most opulent feature. So Mother Devaki was immediately, she became aware of the fact, this is the Supreme Lord. And she was in awe and reverence. And then of course then Krishna, after revealing the fact that I am God, and then he became a small baby. And then baby was transported to Mother Yashoda. So, but Mother Devaki never attained the same status of love that Mother Yashoda experienced. She never had a chance to see Krishna playing in her, in her courtyard, or she could not even lift him up or breastfeed him, give him milk, none of that. She was in this mood of awe and reverence. Understand that, there's huge difference. And so, but in the case of Mother Yashoda, you can see she does not perform any worship. You never see Mother Yashoda worshipping Krishna. And she developed this transcendental ecstatic love for Krishna. So her position is even better than that of Mother Devaki, who gave birth to Krishna. And how did she come to this stage of Prema Bhakti? This is the topic here today. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, again in the very beginning stage part of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is described that, in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that the learned transcendentalists have defined this absolute truth as Brahman, Paramatma or Bhagavan. Brahmedi, Paramatmedi, Bhagavan Idi Sabdyade. Bhagavatam says, learned transcendentalists understands the supreme absolute truth in three aspects. Either as Brahman or as Paramatma, localized Paramatma, the Lord seated in your heart, or Bhagavan, Krishna. And but Mother Yashoda did not think of Krishna in any of these forms. So now, she surpassed all those stages. Even the stage of Bhagavan, like where we worship, devotees worship God as Bhagavan, Krishna as Bhagavan, she surpassed even that stage. So it's interesting, it is very good for us to understand what is this truth about Mother Yashoda. It's really very intriguing, because to understand this, we have to go back to the time when Krishna was born. So before this Damodar Leela chapter comes, there is a chapter in Srimad Bhagavatam which describes Krishna's early childhood pastimes. So as we all know, Krishna was born in the present house and he was transported to Yashoda Mata's place, Lord Nanda Maharaja's palace. And what happened was, after all that happened, Vasudeva, who is Krishna's father, he called Garga Muni, who is their family priest. And because he was in the prison, he cannot take care of his child, and therefore he requested the family priest Garga Muni to go and meet with Nanda Maharaj and take care of the name-giving ceremony for Krishna. Now, understand, Krishna's grandfather, Surasena, he had a wife who was a Kshatriya, and Vasudeva was the son of that Kshatriya wife. And he married a Kshatriya woman, who is Devaki. Whereas Surasena had a Vaishya wife in whose son was Nanda Maharaj, and he married a Vaishya lady as his wife. So both Vasudeva and Nanda, they are very well connected. So that's why Vasudeva could send Krishna to Nanda Maharaj with so much of trust and faith, knowing fully well that Krishna will be fully taken care of. And Garga Muni knew this also. So when Garga Muni went to see Nanda Maharaj, and Nanda Maharaj requested, please do the name giving, and Garga Muni clearly said that, if Kamsa come to know about this, he will immediately put 2 and 2 together, and Krishna, he will send someone to kill Krishna. And so then Nanda Maharaj said, let us do this in a very secluded place in the cowshed. So Krishna and Balaram were taken into a cowshed and they did the name-giving ceremony. So during that time, Garga Muni first named Baladev, Balaram. And Rama means one who gives greatest happiness to everyone. And Bala means strong, because Baladev is very strong. And then he started describing about Krishna, just like how he glorified Baladev. Same way, Garga Muni started glorifying Krishna, and he said, this child is not ordinary. He is the Supreme Narayan, Lord Narayan himself. And not only that, he appears in different colors and different complexion in different time periods, and this is God. So both Nanda and Yashoda were told who Krishna is at the time of name-giving ceremony. But, they heard it. They never kept remembering this is God, this is God, this is... If somebody told us this is God, we will never forget. Because we are under the influence of God's Mahamaya, material energy. Whereas Nanda Maharaj and Nanda Maharaj's wife, Yashoda Mai, they were always under the influence of Yogamaya, right? And so they never gave too much of significance to that, and they never kept remembering about Krishna like that. They completely forgot this. How this happened in Krishna and Balaram, when they were babies, they were playing in the courtyard. And the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj, it was all cleansed with cow dung and cow urine. So the babies will crawl in the courtyard and they will be covered in mud and cow dung. And it was very beautiful. Their bodies looked beautiful, covered in mud and cow dung. And sometimes they will be crawling behind the people who are walking by, thinking that is their mom and dad. And suddenly when those gopis, they look back and they see the child, and the child looks up and sees somebody else, they get so scared. These are not my parents. And so both Krishna and Balaram will crawl back, crawling back to Mother Yashoda and Rohini. And they will immediately lift them up and they pacify them. They look like they were scared. They followed somebody else. And so immediately they will be breastfed. And then both the mothers, they will be looking at these children. And when they're drinking their milk, the mothers were like so much in ecstasy. And it is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam that Krishna, when he is taking mother's milk, suddenly he will look in mother's face and smile. And his small little teeth will be visible. And when the mother sees those teeth, she gets her whole body, it transforms. She is so much happy to see this beautiful teeth of the baby. More and more milk will come, in her breast. She wants to feed Krishna forever. And they would never want to keep the children down. They were extremely attached to their babies. So this went on, and then they started crawling, and they were catching hold of the tails of these little baby calves, and the calves will drag them around throughout the courtyard. And seeing this, the whole residents of in Vrindavan, everybody, they will drop whatever else they were doing. They want to watch this fun, the children hanging on the tail of these baby calves and getting dragged around in front of, in Nanda's courtyard. Those pastimes were taking place, and then when they started walking, Krishna immediately started going to other people's homes and stealing butter and yogurt, as we all have heard a million times. And now, however much Mother Yashoda fed him, he always went to others' house and he ate and he fed the monkeys, and this was going on. And so many times the gopis came and complained to Mother Yashoda, your son is stealing, and complaining about that. And Mother Yashoda always, she will tell him, why are you doing all these mischiefs? Don't do this. So for a little bit, Krishna will stop going. And when he does not come, the gopis were in anxiety. Why is he not coming? Why is he not coming? So they will come looking for him. So this happened, and one of those days is the time when Krishna ate the mud. And so Balaram and some of Krishna's friends came running to Mother Yashoda and started complaining that Mother Yashoda, look, this Krishna, he has been eating mud, in a secluded place. So Mother Yashoda immediately will catch hold of Krishna, lift him up, and she was in so much anxiety, and she will say, why did you eat this mud? And Krishna will say, no, I didn't eat any mud. And there's a whole description about that. He put it in such a way that he admitted the truth, and at the same time he denied the truth. And he has a way of doing that in the language that he uses. If we go into that, we will never finish the class. And so he did all that, and Mother Yashoda said, why are you doing? You shouldn't be doing this. And Krishna said, he looked very fearful and he said, no, I didn't eat, you can look into my mouth. And that's when he revealed this whole universe within his mouth. Now it's interesting, just listen to this. When he opened his mouth, the whole universe, outer space, all directions, mountains, seas, and oceans, and islands, and the surface of the earth, the moon, the stars, the sun, everything was visible. She could see creation, the process of creation. She could see in Krishna's mouth. Now, if any one of you, if you don't have Srimad Bhagavatam, you should get it. The whole process of creation is described there. Everything begins with ahankara, false ego. False ego, in combination with the three modes of nature, produces the senses and sense perception and sense organs and all those things. So the transformation of false ego into all these perceptible things, Mother Yashoda could see. All aspects of cosmic manifestation. On top of that, can you imagine how you can see how these unmanifest elements come into manifest stage? That's not an easy thing to understand. Mother Yashoda saw this and understood it. This is important to remember. And then what happened was, Mother Yashoda she's seeing all of this, not only herself and also Krishna and the whole of Vrindavan Dham. So this is very bewildering, seeing yourself and the whole Vrindavan. At the same time, you are seeing the whole universal creation. So seeing all these things, Mother Yashoda became a little bit fearful. She did not know the identity of her son. And she started thinking, is it a dream? Or is this some external energy happening here? Or is it manifested by my own intelligence? And she was totally confused. And then you will see in Srimad Bhagavatam, there are 2 verses where she is offering prayers. Her prayers are directed to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If you study those, you can clearly see she intellectually understood who is God. And the creation is coming from the Supreme Lord. And Krishna is that. Everything she understood. It's not like she was a village lady who didn't understand any of these things. So she understood all of these things, but in a fraction of a second, she forgot the whole thing. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes that by the influence of Yoga Maya, she forgot. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur clearly says that those who are eternally liberated souls, they are coming from Lord's internal energy, and naturally the internal energy they are under the control of the internal energy. Whereas ordinary living entities like us who are under the influence of material energy, we can come under the control of Mahamaya, material energy. So it is in this context that we have to understand, in a fraction of a second, Mother Yashoda considered her son as an ordinary child. That's what we began, right? We are going back to the same thing. So now, Vyasadeva, who writes Srimad Bhagavatam, is showing that Yashoda's love remains unrestricted in spite of the fact Krishna is exhibiting his whole opulence. Unrestricted love. So, in the Vedas, the Lord is glorified as, particularly like when you see when we are doing the ritualistic ceremonies, like fire sacrifice, we say Vishnu is the recipient of everything that we are offering. So he is known as Yajna Purusha, right? And in the Sankhya Shastras, he is known as Purusha. What is that? Purusha Sukta prayers. And then in the Yoga Shastras, he is Paramatma, the Lord seated within the heart. And in Pancharatra, Vidhi, those who are devotees, the Lord is Bhagavan. But for Mother Yashoda, none of this is applicable. Regardless of time, place, circumstance, Krishna is only her son. So she remembers everything, even though Garga Muni had already said everything. Only thing she is remembering is Krishna, he gets disturbed when he cannot see me. And I get equally disturbed when I cannot see him, even for a short time. So this is Yashoda's situation. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Ye yathamam prapadyante tamstataiva bhajamyaham mama vartamanu vartante manushya partha sarvasaha. Right? As one approaches Krishna, that's how he reciprocates. So as Mother Yashoda approached Krishna in this motherly love, that's how he reciprocated. So, because of that, Krishna wanted to remain as a dependent on Mother Yashoda's mercy. He never wanted to be like that person who gives all the blessings. He wants Mother Yashoda to give him the breast milk. He wants to be dependent upon Mother Yashoda's mercy. So that becomes more clear in Damodar Leela. Now we come to another interesting part of this. So before we go there to Damodar Leela, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains this particular verse we are discussing. It should be considered as the Paribhasa Sutra. Now we always think Paribhasa Sutra for Srimad Bhagavatam. Most of you know what is that. Chant it. Yeah. After describing all these many incarnations, what is Vyasadeva writing is like Yatecham Shakala Pumsa, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Swayam Bhagavan is Krishna. Now Paribhasa Sutra is a sutra or a verse which is like if you light a lamp and put it in a dark place, it makes everything visible. That is a Paribhasa Sutra. So similarly, that statement in the scriptures which can reveal the meaning of everything connected to that verse is the most important. So this particular verse we are talking about, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that this throws so much light on all of Krishna's childhood pastimes. And this is Aishwarya, the display of power and opulence, which is exhibited in Krishna's childhood and youthful pastimes. So this verse throws complete light on all those pastimes. This is what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes. Now that brings us to Damodara pastime. So what is happening? Shukadeva Goswami is explaining this to Maharaj Parikshit. Now let us go get the context. And as that's going on, Maharaj Parikshit raises this question. He's asking, O learned Brahmana, Mother Yashoda's breast milk was sucked by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What past auspicious activities did she and Nanda Maharaj perform to achieve such perfection in ecstatic love? So this is Parikshit Maharaj's question. What is that thing that Yashoda and Nanda did to achieve this prema bhakti? We all want to know the answer to that, right? So Shukadeva Goswami, he knows everything. Shukadeva Goswami already knows that Nanda and Yashoda are eternally liberated souls. understand this, that in the spiritual world, there are Lord's internal energy expands, right? I mean, that is Radharani. Similarly, Krishna's parents are also the Lord's internal energy. So, Shukadeva Goswami knows about that. This is Nanda and Yashoda, they are not sadhana bhaktas. They are already prema bhaktas. They are already perfected beings. They are Krishna's own expansions. He knows that. However, he knows that some sadhana bhakta cannot be qualified to become mother and father of Krishna. Knowing the answer, he knows the answer, but he wants to give something suitable according to the devotional nature of the question. And so, Shukadeva Goswami replies to Maharaja Parikshit. What he says is that at a different time, there were these two personalities, Drona, who was a great Vasu, and Dhara, who was his wife. They were living in the heavenly kingdom, and they wanted to get Krishna as their son. And so they performed sadhana bhakti, and they prayed for prema bhakti, and Lord Brahma became pleased, blessed them, and therefore they became they became born as Nanda and Yashoda by the blessings of Brahma. Now comes the most interesting thing. So, knowing the truth is different, right? And this is Shukadeva Goswami just pointing out something. And then comes Jiva Goswami, right? In current writings of what we look in Jiva Goswami's writings. So Jiva Goswami is drawing a conclusion in some of his writings that Drona and Dhara could not have. They could not have been fully Nanda and Yashoda. Because, first of all, they would not be in the heavenly planet. And so, whoever Drona and Dhara was, they were only partial expansions of Nanda and Yashoda. Now, it becomes more interesting. So, Brahma's blessing, how does you connect all these dots? So, Brahma's blessings could have been the fulfillment of a prophecy. The prophecy was already there. So, Brahma's blessings can be seen in the context of the fulfillment of an already existing prophecy. Not like an independent boon that Brahma just gave, and as a result, Drona and Dhara just suddenly got this position. Now, how this pastime is unfolding in another scripture, which is Garga Samhita. Srila Prabhupada quotes Garga Samhita all the time. So, in Garga Samhita, it is stated, once a partial expansion of Nanda and Yashoda appeared in Swarga as the demigod, Drona and Dhara. And Drona, he was one of the 8 Vasus, and he was a great worshipper of Lord Vishnu, and he ruled a kingdom in the heavenly planets. And because they were childless, they went to the Mandara mountain and they worshipped Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma appeared and blessed them. So Brahma assured them, your desires will be fulfilled, and when the time comes for Krishna's pastimes, you will take birth on earth, and you will become Krishna's parents. So it is said, when the Krishna's time for birth came, the original parents of Krishna, Nanda and Yashoda, appeared on the earthly planet. And Drona and Dhara merged into them. Because anyway, they have their own expansion. So they merged into Nanda and Yashoda, and they also experienced this unlimited bliss of this childhood pastime. So this explanation kind of reconciles the teachings of our acharyas and also the teaching of Shukadeva Goswami. Now this is not the end of the story, as it gets more interesting. Now come back to Damodar Leela. So what happens in Damodar Leela? Mother Yashoda was churning the milk, Krishna was trying to drink Mother Yashoda was churning the milk in a pot. Krishna wanted to drink her breast milk, and suddenly the milk started boiling, and Mother Yashoda wanted it to prevent from spilling over. She puts down Krishna. Krishna is not satisfied. He gets angry. He takes a stick, breaks the pot, and then he realizes his mistake. He gets scared. He started walking away from the broken pot. And his footprints are quite visible. He goes to the neighbor's house. He steals the butter on top of everything else. He sits on top of an upside down grinding mortar. He takes the yogurt and butter in his hands. He starts feeding the monkeys. What happens? Mother Yashoda follows the footprints, reaches the neighbor's house, and with a stick in her hand, Krishna gets afraid and she starts crying. That's Damodara pastime. And then he started running, Mother Yashoda is behind him, and ultimately he allows her to bind him because understanding mother's love, he submits himself. Now, this is the most astonishing of the parental love exhibited by Mother Yashoda, where Krishna becomes the Vishaya, the object, and Mother becomes the Ashraya. How is it otherwise? Krishna is the Ashraya and the others are all Vishaya. So here, Krishna is the Vishaya and Mother Yashoda is the Ashraya. And again, in this context only, Maharaja Parikshit was not satisfied by hearing the answer given previously, that Drona and Dhara became, Krishna's parents. No, he was not. And so in that context only, Shukadeva Goswami is describing this whole Damodara pastime we are talking about. So, coming back to the question about Lord Brahma's blessing for Drona and Dhara, does this prove that, does this prove anything at all? So Prabhupada in his purport, he says, it's not possible for a sadhana siddha living or an ordinary demigod to become, by Brahma's blessing, the father or mother of Krishna. For Krishna's father and mother are already designated. Now comes, how do we see this? Go back to Srimad Bhagavatam, again 10th canto, verse number 9 and chapter 9, text 20. There comes this verse. Nemam virincho na bhavo nasrir apyanga samshraya prasadam labhire gopi yattat prapa vimuktidat. Nemam virinchito na bhavo nasrir apyanga samshraya prasadam labhire gopi yatyat prapa vimuktidat. Neither Lord Brahma, nor Lord Shiva, nor even the goddess of fortune who is sitting on the chest of Lord Narayan. None of these people. None of them can obtain from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the deliverer from this material world, such mercy as was received by Mother Yashoda. Brahma cannot get it, Lord Shiva cannot get it, Lakshmi cannot get it. If you cannot get it, how can you give it? That answers the question. So it was already predestined that Drona and Dhara are expansions of Nanda and Yashoda. Brahma was just a media. So here it is so clear. Brahma couldn't get this. What Mother Yashoda got, Brahma couldn't get. Lord Shiva couldn't get. Lakshmi couldn't get. Only Mother Yashoda got it. So that raises the question, can we get it? We cannot become Mother Yashoda. We cannot become Nanda Maharaj. That's quite clear. So that brings us to another scripture, Gopal Chambu. In Gopal Chambu, there is this whole description. This kind of substantiates the same truth. This is the beauty. How Srimad Bhagavatam, the message, what is given in there, is substantiated by the teachings of our acharyas like, Shukadeva Goswami and Jiva Goswami, and how it is explained in Gopal Chambu, how it is explained in Garga Samhita. This just opens your eyes. So in Gopal Chambu, there is this beautiful explanation. Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, they did not have any children. So they were really desiring to have a child, and they were performing this very special fasting called Dwadashi fast. And what is Dwadashi fast? Drinking milk only on Dwadashi day. We know Ekadashi day we fast from grains. On Dwadashi day they were drinking only milk. Like this they performed one whole year, Dwadashi fast. And at the end of that, the Lord appeared in their dreams. And what did the Lord say? This is so beautiful. He said, "Oh my dear devotees, do not worry. Your desires will be fulfilled." Listen to this. "A delicate boy, dark and glorious like an atasi flower, will become your son." A delicate boy who is dark and glorious like an atasi flower. That is Krishna. He will become your son, and you will be able to gaze upon him always, to increase your love. How fortunate is Mother Yashoda. You will be able to look upon him every day to increase your love for him. And this same boy becomes your son, kalpa after kalpa. Kalpa means a day of Brahma. Every day of Brahma, the same child will be your son. Why? To increase your love. As though Mother Yashoda don't have enough love, she is getting this extra mercy that Lord is telling to them in their dreams, just to increase your love, I will be born as your son again and again and again. This is the loving interaction taking place between Krishna and Mother Yashoda, because he is so much in love with his mom. He does not want anybody else, right? So I will be born again and again, kalpa after kalpa, following my order. Listen to this. You appeared in the world as demigods, where in the heavenly planet as Drona and Dhara. In your amsha and kala, not fully following Krishna's orders, in their amsha and kala form, Drona and Dhara appeared, and now you have taken birth in this place of Vrindavan, where a place even the demigods cannot attain. The Amsha and Kala expansions went and took birth in some heavenly planet. But Nanda and Yashoda are taking birth in Vrindavan. Even if a demigod wants to come there, they cannot. And please know that your glorious desires will soon be fulfilled. Now we got the complete story? We got it. Now comes the very beautiful thing. Sankhya yogis, they do analytical discussion, right? Sankhya philosophy is analytical. Devotees are offering prayers. Mother Yashoda simply says, "You are my son." And Krishna becomes bound by that love. Understand that very simple truth. So, it is said, the heart of someone who has prema bhakti for Krishna, that is where Krishna resides. And he never leaves that heart. We are again coming to the point of this Damodara prayer. Prema Bhakta's heart, Krishna never leaves. Because of this Bhakta Vatsala feature of Krishna, that is one place where he will never leave. So in that mood of Prema Bhakti, Krishna will snatch food from his devotees. Think about the example when Krishna took the remnants of the food eaten by the Pandavas. Remember the time when Draupadi washed her Akshaya Patra and Durvasa Muni was there with 1,000 of his disciples, and she was panicking, how am I going to feed all these people? And Krishna shows up and asks Draupadi, "Give me some food." And she said, "I'm trying to get some food for feeding these these people, you are asking me for food, what can I do? And Krishna said, no, I am so hungry, you have to give me food. And what did she find? He said, go find the pot. And he found a leftover leaf. And he eats that, and he's fully satisfied. That was the remnant of the food eaten by the Pandavas. And it is only out of that love of that Pandavas had, Krishna was willing to eat that remnant. When Sudama Brahmana carried this the puffed rice under his armpit, soaked in the sweat, it's not in a clean food that he is carrying. Krishna grabbed it and ate it. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is Kolavecha Sridhar. Everybody knows, right? Kolavecha Sridhar was a very poor person. What was he? He was simply selling bananas and banana leaves. And he was glorifying Krishna, that out of this unlimited love exhibited by some of his devotees, he specifically talks about Bhishma, how Krishna became, how he reciprocated with Bhishma. He speaks about this Mother Yashoda pastime. And similarly, there are many incidences like that, where Krishna becomes subservient to his devotees. Now, I'm going to conclude. I just took 3 minutes extra here. So, in these pastimes, what is it that Krishna is getting? I happened to hear a class by Gaurav Govinda Maharaj. And this I heard from there. He says that Krishna is enjoying these pastimes and he gets what you call Leelananda. What is Leelananda? Happiness coming out of performing of the pastime. And the devotee of the Lord, he or she gets Premananda. Because it is the love. Because of the love that the devotee carries in their heart, they get Premananda. And Maharaj says that when the two types of Ananda, Leelananda and Premananda, come together, what comes is Apurva Paramananda. Apurva, not just Paramananda. It's Apurva means it is rare. When Leelananda and Premananda comes together, it becomes Apurva Paramananda. And that is very rare. Unprecedented supreme Ananda. The Lord and the devotee become submerged in this ocean of love. And no one can describe it by any language. That's what we are trying to describe. So Krishna is the relisher of all these things because, he is always enjoying the mellows. So that brings me to the conclusion of this, that the two verses of the Damodarashtakam, Namamishwaram song, which we sang, the first verse translates to the Supreme Lord, whose form is the embodiment of eternal existence, knowledge and bliss, Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha, whose shark-shaped earrings are swinging to and fro, who is beautifully shining in the divine realm of Gokula, who, due to the offense of breaking the pot of yogurt that his mother was churning into butter, and then stealing that butter that was kept hanging from the swing, is quickly running from the wooden grinding mortar in fear of Mother Yashoda, but who has been caught from behind by her, who ran after him with greater speed. To that Supreme Lord Damodara, I offer my humble obeisance. Seeing the whipping stick in his mother's hand, he is crying and rubbing his eyes again and again with his two lotus hands. His eyes are filled with fear, and the necklace of pearls around his neck, which is marked with 3 lines like a conch shell, is shaking because of his quick breathing due to crying. To this Supreme Lord Sri Damodara, whose belly is bound not with the ropes, but with his mother's love, I offer my humble obeisances. Why are we singing this? Every single year, during the month of Kartik. Why are we singing it? Because this reminds us, please let me conclude this, devotees. This reminds us that this Damodara pastime, Hare Krishna, just one minute. This particular pastime is, Shukadeva Goswami is explaining this to Maharaja Parikshit because he was not satisfied by the answer previously given. And this pastime is stressing the importance of Prema Bhakti, right? So that's why in the later verse it is said that in the same way, please give me your own Prema Bhakti. I only long for this and I have no desire for any kind of liberation. So every aspiring devotee should be aspiring for what? Prema Bhakti, nothing else. And in the month of Damodara, Krishna is very merciful, and depending upon how you express your Prema Bhakti, and he has given us a practical media to do this. What is that? Lighting a ghee lamp. And when you are lighting a ghee lamp, it is not just light a ghee lamp alone. You are seeking this special mercy from the Supreme Lord. Give me nothing, just give me Prema Bhakti. All your intellectual analysis, not necessary anymore. All you need is that genuine love for Krishna. We don't even know what that is, right? We don't know. But you can ask for that. And therefore, lighting this ghee lamp, it is so significant. You light, offer it, ask for Prema Bhakti. If you got that, like Lord Chaitanya said, you got the ultimate purpose of life, which is the goal of life, which is achievement of this Prema. This is what we are asking for, my dear devotees. Please remember this. Every single day you are singing Damodara Ashtakam. Every single day you are lighting a ghee lamp. Please remember this. And thank you all for your patience. I'm very grateful for this opportunity. You know, I felt I had nothing to say. I have nothing to offer because, you know, brain is totally dry. But as soon as Srimad Bhagavatam opened, this was the words that came. And so somehow I'm very thankful that for this opportunity for glorifying the Supreme Lord on this most auspicious day. Thank you all. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Again, as Mataji started today, this is a very, very auspicious day for all of us. We are assembled here this afternoon, this evening, to have this kind of association. This is very rarest of the rare. If you can imagine, not every one of you really had planned on this day you will be sitting here. Like many of you may have just come just like that, right? You just walked in, you thought, okay, I want to go, and here you are, right? For this occasion, you may have opportunity to light the ghee lamp just now. So again, this kind of lectures are very rare. So please come and on every Sundays take advantage of this from the great speakers like Premna Mataji and several others. So this Sunday feast is possible by kind donation and sponsorship for many of you. And today's feast is sponsored by Prasad Avadha family. They are seeking blessings and sponsoring this feast in the name of their family, Ramnath, Arvind, and Evanli Prasad Avadha. Are they here? Are you here? Maybe just after family. Alright, if not, we'll deliver this prasad to their home. Again, we have slots available for next Sunday, and if anybody inspired, please see me. So with that, there are a couple of other quick announcements. From next, the Kartik month starts today. So until this month, after this lecture, we will offer the ghee lamp there, and whatever the Mataji just spoke about the prayers, we will do their prayer and offer the ghee lamp. So we'll put two lines, one for ladies and one for gents, and we do that. But before we do, we also want to recognize few individuals who always, again, the temple can't run without some monetary donation and support from others, right? So two very, very kind individuals who came forward to support our temple project. They are Pranav Priya and Kanakaraj Prabhu. Thank you so much. So they have sponsored the brick. This is we are requesting $1,000 to $2,000 for brick, and anybody who you want, you can do that. And last but not the least, this year we are trying a little bit unique. Again, as I said, many of us may not realize, but how fortunate we are to offer this ghee lamp. But at the same time, think through that. There are many, many of those who are very unfortunate. Maybe they can't come to the temple due to the physical condition, material condition, or whatever, right? But they all deserve to offer this ghee lamp, don't they? Right? For example, I can call about my father. My father was very nice Vaishnava, but today he lost his memory. He didn't even remember the card. So likewise, I'm sure you know there are many, many, many of you in your family, in your lifetime, your friends, who can't do that. So what we are doing this year, a little bit unique, is we are targeting to offer 5,000 ghee lamps this year in the names of many, many those individuals who may not be able to come, or your loved ones, dear ones, friends, families. And this ghee lamp will, from now until next 30 days, this Kartik month, will keep offering. You will have an opportunity, if you want to offer, we will be having ghee lamp outside every 7 p.m. during the aarti. You can do the offer, but we need your help. We are asking for each ghee lamp, we are asking $11. Only $11, so that everybody can do it. There's no restrictions, like we want everyone. You can offer a ghee lamp, one ghee lamp, or you can offer for a week, that is $77, or for a month, $330. So I really encourage everyone here, and please take this opportunity. Please do whatever you can. Temple does so much, always we do every time that comes. And I know you do, many of you do so much. But here a small ask, let's meet our goal. Our goal is 5,000 ghee lamps for this year. We will send this in a Facebook, on your email, on your WhatsApp. Please share this with friends and family. And just a small $11 per ghee lamp, please keep remember. If you want to see me, please see me after this. And as many as, if somebody stand up, say 5,000, I will do it, I will take it. And we'll offer all those, right? So again, with that, thank you so much for coming and supporting us and taking all these, what we have. So the prayers will start now. Please stand up, line up, one for ladies, one for gents, and start. Thank you very much.
Let me get them there. Namami Swaram Sajam Anandharupam Lasakundalam Gokule Prajamanam Namami Swaram Sajam Namami Swaram Sajam Sarvam Rasatputtaram Gokule Pratamana dinam badalo Vihane Shamahajam Yakshi Krishna Mochita Bhakti Vajakrita Tata Prema Bhaktim Svakam Me Prayaja Mokshe Gramo Me Sthita Modareha Namaste Sudhame Swaradititane Adiyodarayana Vishvasyatane Namo Radhikaya Svajya Priyaya Namo Ananta Devaya Devaya Surya Namo Radhikaya Svajya Priyaya Namo Ananta Devaya Devaya Surya Namo Radhikaya Svajya Priyaya Namo Radhikaya Svajya Priyaya Namo Radhikaya Svajya Priyaya Namo Ananta Devaya Devaya Surya Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
To the Supreme Controller, who possesses an eternal form of blissful knowledge, whose glistening earrings swing to and fro, who manifested himself in Gokul, who stole the butter that the gopis kept hanging from the rafters of their storerooms, and who then quickly jumped up and ran in retreat in fear of Mother Yashoda, but was ultimately caught. To that Supreme Lord, Sri Damodar, I offer my humble obeisances.
On he and his mother was instant, five loving his two loving hands. His eyes were fearful and his breathing quick, and his mother Yashoda bound his belly with rose. He shivered in fright and his pearl necklace shook. To the Supreme Lord, Sri Damodar, I offer my humble obeisances.
Those super excellent pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna's babyhood, drowned the inhabitants of Gokula in pools of ecstasy. To the devotees who are attracted only to his majestic aspects of Narayana and Vaikuntha, the Lord herein reveals, I am conquered and overwhelmed by pure loving devotion. To the Supreme Lord Damodara, my obeisance is hundreds and hundreds of times.
O Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for liberation, nor eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon. My only prayer is that your childhood pastimes may constantly appear in my mind. O Lord, I do not even want to know your feature as Paramatma. I simply wish that your childhood pastimes may ever be enacted in my heart.
O Lord, the cheeks of your blackish lotus face, which is encircled by locks of curling hair, have become reddened like the bimba fruit due to Mother Yashoda's kisses. What more can I describe than this? Millions of opulences are of no use to me, but may this vision constantly remain in my mind.
O unlimited Vishnu, O Master, O Lord, be pleased upon me. I am drowning in an ocean of sorrow, and I am almost like a dead man. Please shower the rain of mercy on me, uplift me, and protect me with your nectarian vision.
O Lord Damodar, in your form is a baby mother Yasoda, bound into grinding stone with rope for tying cows. You then freed the sons of Kaura, Kuera, Manigriv, and Anandapur, who were cursed to stand as trees, and you gave them the chance to become your devotees. Please bless me in this same way. I have no desire for liberation into your effulgences.
O Lord, the entire universe was created by Lord Brahma, who was born from your abdomen, which was bound with the rope by Mother Yashoda. To this rope, I offer my humble obeisances. I offer my obeisances unto your most beloved Radharani and your unlimited pastimes. Shri Radha Damodar Bhagwan ki, Kartik Maas ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Go Premanande.